Happy Sunday, all. Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you so much for being here. Unfortunately, get into here and live. There we go. Now my software is actually connected. Good
Mhm.
morning. How are you doing, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. My streaming software didn't connect to the other app, so I apologize for that delay. Hope everybody is doing well. Thank you so much for coming in today. We have a interesting discussion today. We're going to talk kind of willy-nilly about some things. We are going to be talking about the coin that I have on my display. You'll see that coming up. This is one that we talked about a couple weeks ago. We also have Jack Young in the house. Hey, Jack, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Good morning. Glad to be here.
We're going to talk a little bit about this coin. But the reason that we're going to be talking about on Tuesday, I'm going to be dropping a video about why it's important to know the coin and not the holder. I was in a stream the other day and they were saying, well, anybody who doesn't know a key date coin should buy it in a slab because that's the best way to buy a coin. And that's really bad information. What you should do is you should always look at the coin, right? Because Jack, you can confirm this, being a purveyor of coins and authentic holders. PPGs can get it wrong, but there's a lot of people counterfeiting holders. So the most important thing is to understand the coin itself. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So again, I want to reiterate why we're having this discussion. It's important that we look at these kind of things, and again, just kind of looking at what's going on. So we'll be talking about that coin. If you guys didn't catch this a couple weeks ago when I showed this coin, this came from Jack Young. Was sent to me to kind of have more discussions about this, and I really appreciate it. He's got an article or two. This one is a proxy blog, correct?
Yes, it's in
Okay.
proxy blog.
You do so much stuff, it's hard to tell anymore where the hell
It's hard to
stuff
keep
is.
track. I agree.
Yeah. So, but we'll talk about this, and then we're going to just have some general chit chat. Um, I really need to one day just record our pre thing, just release it as a video. It's amazing the stuff we learn. But I want Jack to also talk about something that's on Fun with Fakes, and I want to make sure that you guys get connected to that site as well, because there was a counterfeit that was brought up that is, for all intents and purposes, amazing.
Mm,
And so lots of interesting information on that one. So we'll
Very.
we'll be talking about that one. Um, but I hope everybody's doing well. Paula, how are you?
I am good. I
She
have
has a
my
very
house
quiet
back.
home. Yes.
I do. I do.
Does your
Um,
house still smell like dog poop?
no, oh, you know what though is Luther brought something up yesterday to me and it gave me nightmares. I do have a Roomba. And thank God I didn't, have it running at night because horrible as that mess was, can you imagine? Oh my gosh. Anyway, no, it doesn't. It's been pine sawed and cleaned up and everything, and the dog's at his new home and her new home.
Mike Mike is like pattern stories.
I know, right? Saved my home. Well, then, why? Why?
Yeah,
So it,
that's
uh,
funny.
Anyway, yeah. Distinct brown pattern. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Well,
No,
I'm glad
I'm
that it
good.
got taken care of because
Yeah, it
that's
did.
a horrible experience.
Ah, it was
You
terrible.
don't have improperly annealed hardwood floors anymore?
I
Dump bump.
don't. Oh my
It's
gosh,
toned.
that's terrible.
You have a toned example of one of those too.
I
You
from my
don't hardwood floor.
Your
granddaughter. I
There
granddaughter.
you
do.
go.
I do. I have the poop Benny.
Oh, man, we have some really interesting crappy discussions. All right. So for those of you who weren't tracking, Paula had a little incident yesterday with an animal.
Oh.
Yeah, fun stuff.
Mhm.
So All right. Well, let's get to the discussion today. I'm going to turn my volume up just a little bit because I can sound is down. Jack, the 1928 MS65 coin on the screen. You want to tell us a little bit about this piece?
Yes, I certainly can. Initially, we found a coin that had this label for sale on eBay. And we went in and looked at it. And again, this is in my proxy blog article. But the coin looked good. Everything about it looked good. But when we went in and looked at the cert number, the genuine coin was a different coin than the one listed on eBay. So that one got removed and went in and started looking a little further for additional examples and went to one of my favorite sites, AliExpress, and found another one. And the coin was great. I mean, it was a very beautiful coin. It became very obvious that it appeared to be photoshopped, and the coin was for a different cert number.
I want to really quick, I don't want to interrupt you, but again,
No.
when he says his favorite site, AliExpress, remember Jack's purpose in this community is to go identify fakes. So he's saying that a little sarcastically. I just want people who are seeing this for the first time that haven't heard Jack discuss this before. Jack looks at sites like Temu, AliExpress, Alibaba. He looks at eBay, whatnot, these various sites to identify people who are selling counterfeit coins. So if somebody hears this and they're like, oh, AliExpress is a really good site, one of the experts said it's his favorite, I want to reiterate why he said that. So don't want to mislead anybody, want people to fully understand the purpose for that.
Exactly. And again, I was being very sarcastic, but I was being honest as well from the standpoint of exactly what you explained, that I go in and I look for counterfeits and I look for the current ones because a lot of times you will see things on Alley that you end up seeing in other selling venues, particularly on the Bay. So just a little background. I've gone into Alley and I have purchased coins from 6 different sellers on their site that were all counterfeit and that were all shown genuine coins in the descriptions. So you're actually looking at a genuine coin and what appears to be in a genuine holder, but then when you purchase it, you get something altogether different. You get something that looks like this, there where it doesn't match the cert number. It doesn't match the description for the grade. There's just nothing about it is correct. AliExpress, when you actually go online and talk to their so-called customer service, will always tell you they're not supposed to sell a counterfeit. And so I've been successful in each time identifying the coin as a counterfeit, showing the images of what was listed versus what was received, and having my money refunded. And in no case has the seller wanted the coin back. So I've done the same thing with this particular one. We actually went in and saw this one. I went in and looked again a little later and saw another listing by another seller for what was really the same coin. It was the same coin image. And we could identify that because there was some toning and the coin was a little tilted in the actual holder. And they used that image and photoshopped it into different holders with different cert numbers. And eventually we did find the genuine cert number for that particular coin that was used for all of these listings. And again, nothing matched. So I've gone in and purchased one of each. And here we can see some of the prices, and they're not cheap. I mean, this particular one was 128.13. It carried a certain number of, the last 4 digits, 9808. It's using the same image as the 2255 and also the certain number that Frosty has an example of. And so I finally went through and I bought one of each. And in both cases, the coins came in and they were just terrible. You can see this one, the 9808, and you see the toning spot I'm talking about on the right of the reverse exactly. I mean, that is a genuine coin. The rest of this is not. When you go in, and I have a barcode reader online service that allows me to read the barcodes. The front barcode normally is gibberish and does not come up. The interesting thing on these types of holders is that the cert will come up on the reverse QR code, but it always comes up to the PCGS.cn, and CN is their China site. So it's interesting that they do that. Again, it's another little clue. You go in and try to read the front barcode and you get nothing. You go in and read the reverse QR code and you get the right cert number, but it wants to take you to the Chinese PCGS site. And they do have a site and a facility in China. So they basically link it to that. So down, I guess we can scroll towards the bottom, but I go through this whole thing. I look at the certs. And again, anytime that I'm looking at a coin and I'm doing an evaluation to try to determine if it's genuine or not, I always go in and look at the certification online for the TPG.
So I'm going to interrupt you real quick again.
Sure.
Jack said that the coin he purchased wasn't cheap. Now, I want to quantify this really quickly. $128 for this particular coin is so far below the value of this coin. So, and when you look at it, it's like, oh, $128 is a lot of money. I scroll back down here and see this. The Heritage Auction 2019, the coin sold for $4,300.
Exactly.
So when we talk about cheap, again, it's really easy to take things at face value, but you have to look past that, right? Yankee Doodle Stacker said, hey, folks, if it's below spot, most likely it's not authentic. That is true. But again, you're talking about people who may not be stackers, who may not be collectors, who found out about a coin, or people who think they know more than they do, and they think they've got a good deal. Like, oh my God, people, like I figured out the loop in this. I figured out how to get these coins super cheap. And like I've beat the system because people are looking for good deals. They're trying to find ways to find stuff that nobody else finds. And it's that and I don't want to call it greed, but it's that desire to get a better deal because again, you can go find really cheap stuff on sites like Temu. It's crap. It's not high quality. The problem is that coins are coins. Silver is silver. Gold is gold. They don't discount that stuff. So, but not everybody knows this. Not everybody realizes this. So when Jack said it's not cheap, it's really cheap in retrospect to what a real one would be. But again, I wanted to quantify that just so that um, people understood that. And again, Yankee, naivety is a part of it, but this is why we, the people on this panel and other people in the community, take it so important because we have a desire to educate people. Naivety is a problem, but this is why we do what we do, right? If there's not people who do this, and again, people we'll talk about this a little bit later. This is a conversation we were having earlier. The knowledge of people historically leaves when people leave the hobby, they pass on, something happens. People leave their jobs, graders, things of that nature. We'll be talking a little bit more about that a little bit later. So you have in the medical field, Paul will know, we call it clinical currency. And that is a doctor has a certain level of skill. If they don't perform that skill after a certain amount of time, they forget it. Okay. And so it's really important to look at what is going on in that area, look at information, try to identify what's happening, and really kind of break down and educate people because, again, common sense is only common if everybody has it. It's really easy to be critical of people and say, hey, you're just stupid. You just don't get it. You just don't understand. But this is why we educate. This is why we do those kind of things. because many of those people out there could be amazing for the hobby if we just tutor them and bring them alongside and actually teach them the proper information. So I just want to make sure that people are tracking that. Sorry to interrupt you again, Jack, but I think it's seeing some of the things in chat. I wanted to stop and reiterate why we're saying these things, why what you do is so vitally important. And again, we'll talk about the TPGs in a minute and some of the stuff that we talked about prior to coming live. So again, I appreciate you, but sorry for interrupting.
And where I was going, when you go in and look at the cert verification, if you're fortunate enough that there's an image, then you can do a comparison. And in this case, PCGS has a very good image. But you can also look, and I always try to glean whatever information I can out of the past auction listings. And here in this case, you can actually see what the price was for that particular coin. NGC does a similar thing. If you go in and look for a certain number with NGC, they will actually have what they call a price guide. And it's not always up to date, but it is normally good enough that you can get a good assessment that, yes, that coin's worth more than $128. And when I say $128 is rather expensive, you will see the same things listed on eBay using stock images a lot of times for $26. And that gets into the discussion again about, yeah, it's actually under spot. And when you buy one, you're going to get a coin that is not made of silver and does not match the stock image they showed. We'll go down a little bit further. So again, we saw a number of these. This is another one. This one actually has the 2255 cert. Turns out I believe that that actually is the good cert and actually has the image of the good coin. But again, if you look at the font on the label, if you look at the barcode, how blurry it appears to be, it's just gibberish and it will not scan. See what else we got down here as you go down. So then I found one that wasn't photoshopped and wasn't meant to look like the genuine coin exactly. But what is interesting is, again, it's the 2255 cert number. They turned the coin in the holder. And I thought that was significant because they made it, at least when you look at it on the surface, have the same tilt that the genuine coin has in the genuine holder. So that is actually a counterfeit that was shown in this particular listing. And it was, I noted it was a brand new seller at that point in time. And that's what it actually looks like compared to the genuine coin. So it's not going to look like the genuine coin. The cert doesn't look quite like the genuine coin. It is a counterfeit on the left, but they did do a nice tilt on it and almost put it in the same orientation of the genuine coin that's shown on the right. Go down a little bit further.
There's a question that I have on this. And so you can't always look at the position of the coin in the holder to authenticate whether it's real or not, or whether it's that coin or not. Is that true?
Absolutely. That is
Okay.
correct. But in this case, they were cognizant enough about what the genuine coin actually looked like in the holder to make their counterfeit appear similar.
And that's all in an act for that deception that we talk about.
Exactly. That is intentional. That is without question a counterfeit trying to sell something that is a replica or fake as the genuine example. And then when you look at the reverse doesn't quite have the same tilt. Then you can also see the telltale toning of the genuine coin is not on the counterfeit on the left. In fact, the detail of the counterfeit of the left is terrible. It is definitely not the MS grade that's shown on the label. You know, one of the things that Eric had noted, that is not graded properly by the label. And then if you go in and actually scan that QR code, the QR code for the genuine one takes you to the correct cert number and the PCGS and all the online stuff. The one on the left, the counterfeit, takes you to the CN site and actually says China.
And again, folks, if you ever have questions regarding the authenticity of a coin, you can always reach out to Paula, to myself. We will make sure we connect you to, depending upon what coin it is, the proper person. There are people, Jack Riley, looking at trade dollars and looking at Morgan dollars, or the old flowing hair, the cat bust, right? We know the people who focus on those particular elements, those items, so we can make sure that you get into the right hands. All of us talk a lot. And so if you have something and you're not sure about, if you have any questions, reach out to us and let us know. We'll make sure we get you connected, get us photos, get us the site. We can look at the information for you and help provide that information, because again, education is extremely important, but we don't want anybody in the hobby to inadvertently buy something like this. We all work too hard for our money, right? So we want to make sure that we're good stewards about this. However, it's also illegal to sell a coin. So if you buy one of these, you can't go back and resell it. And there are laws. The Hobby Protection Act 1973 was revised in 2014. There are very specific requirements and laws regarding the sell and the ownership of counterfeit coins. So we're doing this one as a service to kind of help you all. This is something that we just want to make sure that you guys know what's going on. And don't send us 10,000 images and expect us to go through every one of them. You know what I mean? You got to be a little bit smart about it. If all of the ones that you're looking at are Temu and Alibaba, well, yeah, well, guess what? They're probably not authentic. But again, it's one of those things that we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to kind of look at these things, because again, it's about protecting the hobby. Jack Riley, the Morgan man. Yep, indeed. Sorry, Jack. Again, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. It's no problem. So then I'll go in and find another alley, and this one has a very similar orientation, but it has an entirely different cert number. And again, this one was one that was sold at Heritage back some time ago. So they just continue to Photoshop, use a genuine coin image, and put it in with a holder with a whole different cert number. Go on down. And I said, I just definitely wonder where it's going to stop. It ended up that there were 3 different listings on Alley with similar looking coins, all with different PCGS cert numbers. And I ended up buying one, and the one that I bought is the one that I ended up sending to Frosty that he's showing this morning.
Which is this one right here.
Exactly, the 4678. That's what I ended up actually being delivered when I purchased one. Again, I purchased two different sellers. Got 2 different coins. They both look very similar. They both had different cert numbers. I sent you the one that I thought was the prettiest, Frosty.
Well, thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Absolutely.
So again, folks, now there's some other things. If you look at the 1928, I'm going to shift myself real quick and pull this coin back up. I don't know why I just changed this. But there is something on the reverse of some of these coins that if you go to NGC, or if you do what Jack says, which is the Red Book counterfeits, there's also another 1928 that circulates that has something that is, it shouldn't be on any coin but one, maybe two. And that is the extra ray at the bottom of the tail feather. If you look at, I'm going to pull something else up here. Here we go. Let me show you quick. Why I did this. Okay. So this is one from NGC. And you'll notice that there's the extra thing down here. Now you'll notice thickening here. Okay. So this is just one of the many peace dollars that are out there that have the incorrect reverse. And if you look at these, you'll see what the real genuine 1921 should look like. You'll see kind of what this counterfeit one looks like. You'll see the really, really thick. It almost looks like it's a double die. Um, this has been squished off to the side. You can see the real thickness in these. You can see that the rays are really warped. They don't actually look like the rays that are there. They're malformed. But this is what one of the genuine ones from that particular year should look like. It doesn't have this extra one down here. You can see that there is a very crisp, even though it's a little soft, because a lot of the peace dollars have soft strikes. It's it's still clear, even though it's soft. It's still clear. You can see this ray coming out with this, and you can see the positioning is right. It's not touching. It doesn't blend all into one area. And so, even though you may see one like the coin that is shown here, that doesn't necessarily have that. You can see that that one doesn't look like the one that's there. Um, it's important to understand the coin. Now, this goes back into why we're having this discussion and why I'm dropping the video on Tuesday. And Jack, by the way, I sent you a preview of that in the same place that I sent the other one when we did the identification of the scanning the RFID piece.
Great,
I'll send
great.
you the link to that so you can look through that today.
That'd be great. And I think
Um,
Jack Riley has written some articles on some of these peace dollars as well.
yeah, and again, I know there's a lot of people in chat. Vote for Pedro's here, huge fan of the peace dollar, like myself. Really enjoy peace dollars, and that's why when I saw this, I was like, "Oh my god, you don't know how much I enjoy this one." Um, but I was in a chat the other day, and Paul and I had talked about this, and some of the information that was given was really bad, and it kind of went something like this: the information, or the person who's new should never buy a raw coin because there's too much potential for fake. And they were talking specifically about the 1909 SVDB. And I was like, well, hold on. So what are you saying? They said, well, you should buy it in a graded slab. And I'm like, well, hold on. What if they don't know if the slab is real or not? Well, it's authorized, it's covered by PCGS or NGC. And it's like, well, but that's if the slab's authentic. Well, yeah, but if they're too much of an idiot to know whether the slab is authentic or not, then they shouldn't be buying key date coins anyway. And that's really, really bad advice. Really bad advice. Don't take the holder. You should know the coin. When you watch Jack, Jack can look at the holders and he can see the fonts and he can see those kind of things. But some of these holders are really good, like this particular one. This one has the RFID symbol, it has the RFID in the background. Now, this one doesn't scan. This is a really key tell, right? However, you can't necessarily look at the holder. You always, 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 always need to look at the coin. It doesn't matter if it's a gold coin, if it's a silver coin, if it's a copper coin, it doesn't matter. The coin is the item that you should be authenticating, not the holder. Yes, if you have an authentic holder, it will be covered by PCGS, whether the coin is real or fake. If they put a fake holder or they put a fake coin into a real holder, PCGS will do what they need to do to resolve that situation. But if it's a fake holder and a fake coin, PCGS has nothing on that. There's nothing for them to do. So don't get lured into the misunderstanding or the misconception that just because it's in a holder means that it's authentic. Learn your coins. Understand what's there. Understand what's real, what's not, what should be on a coin, what shouldn't be on a coin. And this is why we talk about this all the time. There are so many resources available to you that if you simply look at a red book, a lot of these will just be explained to you. Some of the coins are getting, and we can move from this, and I'm just going to go back to this one and kind of just talk about this. Some of these are getting better and better. Jack, you talked about the big cycle of, I think it was 2014, 2015.
Correct.
What was happening during that time frame?
So I actually got involved going down the rabbit hole of counterfeits in the late 2015, fall of 2015. A friend actually showed a group of us from EAC a counterfeit 1798 large cent in a genuine TPG holder. And the question was, what was wrong with it? Well, you had to go in to attribute the coin, and you found that it was not attributable. There were issues with that coin, with the date and with the length of the Y, and a partial die break on the reverse that made it something altogether different than anything we'd seen. And there was some discussion about maybe it was a new variety until I found like four more on the bay, and they all had matching circulation marks, a big pit in the bust, and they all had the tooled Y and a couple of other things. So it led us to look into more coins from that particular group and to actually document who that group was. And I know I've talked about this before and I don't want to belabor it, but there was a Chinese buyer who was buying genuine coins through eBay in most cases from good dealers. And those coins ended up in Texas with a group of counterfeiters. And in many cases, the coins had damage. They had a hole or they had some other damage. And they very expertly repaired those damaged areas. But when they re engraved it, it did not match a known variety at that point. And we started tying those together through some of the TPG certifications and found that I think I've documented 25 different denominations and varieties that that group was responsible for. They were selling on eBay. They sold on some of the major auction sites. I mean, very good auction houses. They got them in all four of the TPG holders, depending on which coin it was. And I actually went with Beth Deischer in the anti-counterfeiting task force at the time to DC in 2017 and did a presentation and actually located, showed them where the den was and showed them documentation of the coins. One of the coins was an 1806 half cent, which is my avatar, which you can see as I'm speaking here. And I got a call about 2 weeks later from Texas Border Protection telling me that they knew where the house was and they knew what was going on, that I would probably never hear anything about what the results were, but that whole group disappeared. And even eBay removed the 7 or 8 different connected sellers that I had indicated, removed them completely. So that whole group was gone. They made some of the best counterfeits ever because they were basically scanning the repaired coins and making false dies, and they looked like genuine coins. I mean, they matched the variety identically. The downfall was that they also matched any of the circulation marks and any of the attribution marks that would allow us to identify them as struck counterfeits. Those are still out there. And as Frosty has talked about some of the knowledge that appears to be lost at times, these coins are still coming on the marketplace. And the 1806, when we first saw it, the half cent back in 2015 and 16, BCGS had seen a couple, the other TPGs had seen a few. They are still showing up even today and being certified as genuine again. And I bought 4 now in the last 3 months, and 1 is raw and 3 are in TPG holders as genuine coins. So that's kind of where I ended up involved in all of this and really got me involved in counterfeits going forward. A lot of the counterfeits we see now, we see a lot of very bad, I call them CN, China counterfeits. Some of them are a mid-level that are good enough that if you don't know attribution of that particular type of coin, they might slide by, and they have slid by. But I've not seen the level of detail as I've seen for the ones that go back to the 2015, 2016 timeframe.
So that was kind of like one of the heydays for some of the top line counterfeits.
It was, but to Eric's point, there's been a lot of improvements in technology since then. I've been in automotive manufacturing and tool manufacturing for almost 40 years before I started a second career when COVID hit. And there are so many advancements now in just manufacturing and 3D printing and 3D scanning. You know, when I talk about early copper counterfeits, and I talk to some of my friends in EAC, Early American Coppers, the best coins have been documented. And even the best early copper coins have defects. It really doesn't matter. There's something on a coin that you're going to find after it was struck, and of coins that are over 200 years old. And my thought is when the counterfeiters make the perfect 1798 S158, the community is going to say there's something wrong with that coin. What's the provenance? Where did it come from? How can it possibly have no marks whatsoever that are documented? But when you get into peace dollars and Morgan dollars and some of those that I'm not as in tune to them as many people are, they're more general to me. I'm not sure how you're going to differentiate some of those. And so that technology may really, really come to play in some of the other varieties.
Yeah, so a couple of things in chat. Luther says, sadly, whenever a veteran coin guy dies or coin gal, I'll correct that because we have a lot of smart ladies in the group. A lot of coin history dies too, forgotten to time, until the next pro steps in and we approach that time of several old cats are leaving. Then Mike comes back and says the older guys generally wrote books, but many of the generation these days are preserving things through the ideas in the internet. All of those statements are true. The problem with it is that there's so much mis and disinformation out there that how do you sort through the chaff to find out what's good and what's not? And so this is where, as educators, it's up to us to make sure that we identify those really good sources and share that out accordingly. The information that's out there can be pretty obscure. And so, Paula, you were talking about proxy blog. Just because great information is there doesn't mean everything on there is good. So, how do you sort the wheat from the chaff? How do you actually identify what's good information and what's not? And this is where establishing your network of people who are knowledgeable and have a real desire to improve the community and protect the hobby come into play. But with that intent, right? I don't know how to say this without offending some people. Just because you've been in the hobby for 30 years doesn't make you an expert. Just because you've done this in the past doesn't mean that you're right. And so, how do you judge what's true and just? And again, you have to have people that are out there doing that and document that and identify where those things are. And so, again, this is why it's important for us to kind of constantly review these elements. And Mike's like, offend me, go ahead. Oh, dude, no, it's okay. you know, um, my mom taught me not to pick on handicapped kids. So Mike probably didn't laugh at that. Um, but it is really important to make sure that we understand where stuff is at. The information that Jack is sharing is all known by the TPGs. They're aware of this. It's been documented. They've removed this countless times, yet it still gets in there from time to time. Why is that? Well, people move, people get out, right? And so, how do you maintain that information? That's a challenge. One of the other comments that I saw in chat, and I would like all of you, Paula, Eric, Jack, to kind of chime in on this one and tell me what your thoughts are about this statement. Counterfeits have always been around. The issue right now is that there's so many platforms by which for them to spread their information. That's the problem.
I
Yeah.
agree to some extent. Absolutely. There's so many venues and so many opportunities to get these things out in front of people. But I guess my opinion is When I got involved in early copper, I joined a group that was focused on early copper. I asked what were the best books to learn early copper. I bought those books. I became and attempted to become my own expert of those things that I wanted to invest money in and I wanted to collect. And yes, I learned a lot from other folks, but I learned a lot to the point that I can identify a lot of those things in early copper. I can identify varieties of 1794 large cents from a glance because I've spent so much time on it. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are either dabbling in coin collecting, they found a collection that somebody in their family has given them, whatever it might be, and they don't have those skill sets yet. And that's where these things that are hitting these venues, along with the get rich quick schemes that people see. Oh my goodness, I can get that for $29. It's got to be a steal. Has created a lot of issues for a lot of people just getting into the hobby.
Yeah, and I want to say something, and I see this a lot in chat. I hear it from different coin experts, and it really bothers me. One is an educator, somebody who's, and you guys have heard me say this before, right? Being an IT person, I had a really good teacher in that realm that said, "You've heard this 1,000 times, but this is the first time that they may be coming to you with this issue. This is new to them. Just because you've heard it 1,000 times, don't roll your eyes and go, oh my God, this." You need to take it from a standpoint of, hey, I have the history, I have the knowledge, I can help you. Like, you know what? I'm glad you asked that question. That's a really good question. Fortunately, I've been in this situation enough times. I've got the answer for you. Here's how that rolls out. And then you walk them through that process and you stop at various points and say, okay, where are you at? You following along? Do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns? Oh, man. Okay. You're trying to right click on your desktop. Paula, do you remember the story that I told you about the old Air Force colonel?
No.
So I was doing now
I was
this
probably ignoring you.
that happens quite a bit, by the way. Was dealing with an Air Force colonel. This guy is extremely smart, but he was self-proclaimed, kind of like my buddy Tiger Stacker. He'll tell you, I am not the best when it comes to technology. Like, he's an ER doc. He's brilliant. He's smart. He gets stacking. But when it comes to IT, he's just like, I hate this stuff. It
Yeah.
frustrates him. And I told him I was doing a tech support call with this colonel. But folks, this is not a joke, by the way. Okay. This is a real situation. And I told him, I said, well, I need to get to the property. So I want you to right click on your desktop. And he was like, why are you wasting my time? That is not going to help me. And I was like, oh, damn. No, I need you to right click on your desktop and there's a menu that's going to come up. And he's like, how in the hell is writing on my desktop going to help? Didn't quite say it that way, but I gave you a little insight to what he was thinking about. See, he was looking at his desk. He didn't reference the computer screen as being the desktop. He was looking at his desktop and he wanted to know if he took a pencil and he wrote the word click, how was that going to help him? So is he an idiot? Well, he's just technologically not brilliant. But no, the guy was extremely smart and he sent me a picture. He had actually wrote click on his desktop, wrote click again. I still have it. Not a joke. And I contacted him back and I was like, sir, let me orient you. I have failed you. And he's like, what do you mean you failed me? And I said, I didn't explain well enough to get you to understand what I need you to accomplish. On your screen, you have your icons. Yes, that is considered to be your desktop. And he went, oh my God, I feel so stupid. And it's like, no, I failed you as an educator. I didn't give you the information that you needed to be better. This was my failure to you, not your failure at me. I'm the responsible party. I'm the one trying to teach you. It's up to me to make sure that you understand this. And he sat down with me And he was like, you need to teach. You need to teach. You get something that most people don't get. In the coin collecting hobby, we need to do the same thing. We need to mention something and then stop and say, do you understand what we just said? Does that make sense? This is why periodically, and I don't mean, and I've talked to Jack about this. He's very aware. We've discussed this multiple times. Jack, I need to interrupt you. He's fine. No problem. He doesn't take offense to it. He gets exactly what's going on. But there's something that said that might mislead somebody. I want to make sure that those clarifications are met. We owe this in our hobby to make sure that when we say something, people know what it is that we're saying. Why is that so important? Because again, I cannot assume that you are on the same level as me. I can't assume that you know what I know. I can't assume that you have that same experience that I do. I can't listen to Jack, and I often have to stop and go, Jack, explain. What do you mean by that? What does that mean? It's not that I'm trying to challenge him. I really need to understand the basic or the premise of it in order to make smarter decisions. And so when you go through things and you're asking questions, quantify it. I probably don't know as much as I should know about this. So talk to me in a manner that would help me understand. It's hard for people to say, I don't know. It's hard for people to say, I just don't get it. They want to feel like they're smart. They want to feel like they know it. They want to feel like they have this under control. So I don't like it when people say, well, they're an idiot. Let the idiots buy. Let the idiots have it. I removed a comment earlier. Actually, I hid somebody from my chat because of that comment. I'm not going to promote allowing people who don't understand to buy it. What kind of person are we to allow that in our hobby? It's going to happen, yes, but you know what it's supposed to be? It's supposed to be us providing great information. So Jack and Paula and Eric come up here. They don't get paid to do this, but they really want to help the community and make sure that you guys have the best information that you can. They
Plus, I
do
like
this.
hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, because we're so likable.
That's right. That's right.
You notice Paula just left. The BS was getting deep, apparently. I'm just kidding. The peanut butter. Come on, nobody laugh about that.
I did.
Okay.
I
It's
did
just,
as well. I
Okay.
just muted.
But why do I say this? It's not to be preachy. It's not to do whatever. But it's an honest statement. It's up to us to really say, here's what's going on and why. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, why do I have to know this? Well, is AZ, yeah, AZ's there. Okay, perfect. AZ had the opportunity last Christmas to help the community because of something that happened within his family. They bought a coin. The coin, it was not real. Son didn't understand information. We didn't belittle and berate him for his son buying something. It wasn't, oh my God, how stupid do you have to be? It's like, you know what? This is a really good opportunity to help others in the community understand what they need to look for. Every mistake is an opportunity to grow. Every bad choice that's made is an opportunity to get better. And so if you go into that, if you understand what the intent of that is, then you grow. Where the problems get made is when you think you know more than the people that are trying to help you. And if you're constantly one of those people that says, unfortunately, you don't know what you're talking about and you're dismissive and you shut people down, then you're not helping the hobby. You're not being, if you can't explain it simply, yeah, I love your thumbnail. Hold on just a second. And I have a problem with this sometimes. Yeah, I love this thumbnail. That's a great shift, Paula. Thank you for that. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Yeah. And again, all of us have this issue. We get so used to doing something that we forget that sometimes the basics have to be brought out. Right. And so again, it takes an army. But anyway, I'll get preaching about that. I just want people to understand and kind of have that insight as to why we talk the way we do. This explains our talk last week. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Exactly. Frosty, can I send you images of one I just got in? Absolutely. Certainly. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. So Eric and Paula, I know Jack and I have been dominating this conversation. What are your guys' thoughts on what we talked about?
I just think that there's more availability because there's more outlets for them now. And I do think they're going to be more pronounced, or there's going to be more of them just because people are trying to exploit people, and they're going to get better. Uh, I mean, my feeling on the counterfeit is the best counterfeits probably are not even known yet. They're probably out there.
Oh, I muted myself. Sorry about that. Some reason, fine.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, Frosty,
Yep.
can I make a comment to your last point?
Yeah.
I had a gentleman in one of the early copper groups post a coin that was counterfeit, and I actually sent him a PM, and it was one that I had written an article on, and I went through and explained the apps, and he posted then a response and thanked the group and thanked me, and then subsequently bought a genuine large cent of that date, and then sent me another note, and we have become Facebook friends, and he's actually joined the Fun with Fake groups and has asked me to go in and post that as just a note about what happened, what he learned, and subsequently what he bought as a result of it. And I thought that was just great. So he's in the group now the last, I don't know, couple days.
And that's why you do it. That's why we do it. Uh, is to make people make better decisions, I suppose. Uh, if you think you're going to get $1,000 coin for $100, you got another thing coming. I mean, uh, hopefully they can get a handle on it.
So whatever happened with the situation, and Jack, I'm having a hard time pulling up. I'm not sure why this is coming across right now. Let me access the other. Can you let me see if I can take photos of it.
One thing I heard about SD Bullion is that they are now an authorized purchaser for the U.S. Mint in their bullion program.
They are being sued.
By who?
I
Somebody,
don't know. It's a
yeah.
class action lawsuit. Them and a bunch of YouTubers that were advertising their site, saying that they had silver at or below spot.
Yeah, the lowest prices. It was, yeah. But again, so let's not, we don't need to go into that. Right now, it's just an accusation. It's, so don't read into that, folks. Right? It's just, yeah, it's out there, but these things happen all the time. It's people get sued. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen, and it doesn't mean that anybody. But just let it play out. Don't get on the bandwagon about talking about something that we don't know yet.
I wanted to say something real quick while I'm thinking about it because I will probably forget. If any of you see Blue Moon Bee around, let her know because she lives in or around Portland. Let her know that I'm going to be there the weekend of the 15th, I think it is. November 15th and 16th. I'll be 14th, 15th, 16th for the coin show up there. The Portland, it's Willamette Coin Club, but it's the Portland Coin Show. Let her know that I'm going to be there at the Kaneka table, please. I don't see her around because I don't think we go into the same rooms. So, yeah. Anyway, if anybody sees her around, let her know, please. I would love to meet her. Seems like a fun gal. That's all. That is all.
That is
Carry
all.
on. Yeah, and I'm not AZ, so there's that.
Yeah, so there is going to be a big Baltimore show. If you guys haven't seen the Coin Show
Yeah.
podcast, last night
Mhm.
they dropped an amazing list
Oh, good
of
interviews coming up.
yeah, like some massively good interviews of
Yeah, they
people that
clogged up my feed.
yeah,
I thought you were quiet last night,
it's
Paula.
going to be
know.
a very good set. So if you guys aren't looking at or subscribed to Coin Show podcast,
Mhm.
you need to go back and watch yesterday's. They have an amazing list of people. They talk about this, talk about when they're going to be there, the times. They also are doing something really cool. We're not going to talk about it here. You got to go watch over there. They
Yeah.
have a little contest type thing that's going on, but you have to be
And
engaged.
whoever thought of that was brilliant. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Well, it might have been me.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's Azure made that that recommendation. Him
What
and I were talking
recommendation?
for me to do something the same.
Oh.
It's a really good idea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, so anyway, go
Yeah,
check that out.
yeah.
It's definitely something that you're going to want to look at.
Yeah. It's- and also don't forget Wounded Warriors, that 8th, 9th, and 11th Pedro. Wounded Warriors auction. 8th, 9th, and 11th. The holidays are coming. I intend on winning that, by the way. I'm not going to talk about it or give any clues, but I do intend on winning one of those. Peace out. Peace out, Luther. I will see you around. Thank you for doing that,
Yeah, of
Frostbyte.
course. Yeah, I
Um,
think I'm going to have to permanently remove that person from my
yeah,
channel. I know
yeah,
who that is. So
yeah. I don't know who it is, but thank you for doing that.
they're going to have to be permanently removed. They just like dissension.
Yeah, I
There's
appreciate
always one, Frosty.
Oh, yeah,
and
well there's more than one. It's just this person just likes to degrade people, and unfortunately it's time for them to go bye-bye. I've tried to
well,
be patient with it and allow people to do their stuff.
they are just
It's targeted now. It's
attention
yeah.
seekers.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah,
People who are unhappy about themselves.
they need attention. Look at me.
So Jack, I'm not able to pull that up. So I'm going to have to, can you send that to the other account? Um, go to the one with me on the bike, send it to that one. If you wouldn't mind doing that, and then I'll pull those across. For some reason, the other one is not.
Yes,
Okay, I'm trying to figure out
congratulations
which one you mean.
to the Dodgers.
Oh, Riley.
To the
Sorry.
Dodgers.
Jack
Riley.
Riley sending me some pictures of coin.
Yeah, what a game, eh, Paula?
Yeah. Yes. LA bringing it home.
Ah, beauty. There we go. Got it. Okay. So I'm going to pull this up. Jack, you want to tell us in chat what we're looking at here? There we go.
Go Dodgers.
Now, and again, we can show you, if you guys want to know, let me ask the chat this first, before I kind of go too much about this. Jack Young, Jack Riley, they have tons of really, really good images of deceptive counterfeits. Is that something you guys would like to see a little bit of so you guys can understand some of those elements, or is that too deep into the woods for you guys? I'm gonna leave it up to you. Yesterday, people said it was too deep into the woods. I know sometimes we have to go that deep because, again, we have different leveling of people that are in the chat. So I want to ask what your guys' preference is. We can go deeper into that if you want to, but if you don't want to, then that's fine as well.
That's what she said.
So this is a transfer die counterfeit, 1901 O VAM 60. Best example of the variety I have.
They need to get this fixed. Oh, is your internet crappy, Eric? Having issues?
It is all morning.
Well, maybe when this is over, just unplug it for a while and see. I don't know.
They actually sent me a text message.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well,
Oh, that they're having issues in the area?
Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense.
Well, somebody cut the fiber about 3 days ago.
Eek.
A road construction crew cut it. So,
Oh, that's going to back some people up.
yeah.
Sorry. That was a bad joke.
Right now. Okay, so Jack Riley, tell everybody what makes it a VAM 60.
And by the way, this isn't a real coin. This is a counterfeit.
It is a transfer die counterfeit.
Yep.
Tell everybody what makes it a VAM 60. And for those of you in the chat, VAM, V-A-M, stands for Van Allen and Mollis. And those are the two gentlemen who cataloged die pairings, die marriages for Morgan and Peace dollars. Every Morgan and Peace dollar is a VAM. Has a VAM, a die marriage, die pairing number. So it doesn't mean it's special. Some of them are, though. Some of them are special. So when he talks about VAM numbers, he is actually paired. That's where when Jack Young talks about attribution, that's what he's talking about. They have actually paired the die pair and the original coin that was the host coin for the counterfeit. They have paired that to these counterfeit using markers, die markers or circulation marks on the original coins, on the host coin. Did I say that right, Mr. Young? Bueller?
Yes, you did.
Bueller.
So Jack says this is a reverse of a C3 type. Flash through the arrowhead of M and America are the best repeating circulation marks to notice. Yeah, and there's, depending upon the VAM, or excuse me, depending upon the counterfeit, there are certain things, like we see the Carson Cities with a slash in the chest, right? Or the what is it, the dot N? That one or the other one?
Yeah, the dotted end trade dollar.
Yeah, the trade dollar. There you go. And so there are some markers that most of you should get to be familiar with on when you're buying some of these things. But again, you know, that's what people are here for, and that's what we can help do with. But there's tons of articles laying these things out. If you're going to be buying one of these, check to make sure that they don't have an article listing, because if they do, man, you have all the information, the images, the die markers, you know exactly what to look for. So again, nobody expects you to have every coin memorized. Just know where to find the information. That's the important part. There are 34 varieties of this family. I currently have 19 of them. Some are very elusive and difficult to discern. So why do they beat the coins up so much? Is it to hide the die markers? Because a lot of these are pretty wore down, pretty old, pretty hammered.
Many of these actually circulated as genuine coins.
Gary.
Yeah,
Very scary. Just like
many
the
of them.
Henning nickels, though. Henning nickels are still circulating.
Well, isn't that the thing with the micro O's or something like that? They actually are silver coins, and they circulated them just for as regular coins.
Many
They
of them
absolutely
are.
did. Most of the contemporary counterfeits actually circulated, during
Mhm.
the dates that that coin was out. And, it wasn't that long ago that the micro O's were all considered genuine coins.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
that's why we look for some of those and actually third-party grader holders as genuine because they actually demand a premium as a result.
I know what that means. I hope you didn't hurt it.
I don't think he did. I think the dog hurt itself. I think
Oh
they
no.
probably did something bad. Yeah.
Frostier, Paula FEP varieties, Pedro, you silly goose, you.
I see dead people.
Hold on just a second. Let me shift this really quick because Jack sent me something. Let me. The other Jack.
It's okay, Amy. I know. You know me. I'm just kind of, I have to, if I don't say anything, it'll haunt me for the rest of the day.
Half stat. So tell us about this one, Jack.
I get a little OCD.
This is one of the very deceptive struck counterfeits. This one's in my collection. This one was slabbed by Annex in 2017. It's the same as the avatar that I use for this. One of the big tells is there's a damaged area on top of the
Mhm.
A of half, and there's a couple of different markers. And if you go to the next image,
It is.
after knowing that these are counterfeit, this one went through in June, and basically the same type of counterfeit. And that was some of the discussion we had earlier, Frosty, was eventually these are going to be genuine because they're going to be all in genuine holders.
Yeah, and again, the work that you do, I always joke with you and say you're doing the Lord's work because you've identified numbers of these. Um, how do we there's no way for us to prevent that from
There
so
apparently isn't. We talked about institutional knowledge and how it, ebbs and flows. And that's the case here. I mean, Annex knows this. And, I've written countless articles on this particular counterfeit, probably 6 or 7 different articles in various different venues. And I don't really want to say that a friend of mine who just started verifying coins for Annex did this, but you can kind of read between the lines and it's like, how did that possibly happen? There was a coin that went to Annex. It was a large cent, and I had written an article on it, and it got slabbed as genuine. And the individual there at Annex actually sent me a note and says, I really can't explain this. I have your article in the corner of my desk.
Mm.
And there's just nothing else can be done. My avatar of the same type coin in a boutique holder was done this summer as well. And that particular TPG has 4 or 5 in their holders that go back to 2015, and they very
That's
well
a
know it.
Trader B slab, right? Is that
Yeah, I
a
don't think that.
NGC? Is that an NGC?
Yeah, you can see it in my avatar
Mm.
partially, I guess, but, it really upsets people when I tell them this.
Mm.
Um, and I bought it off of eBay, and I explained it to, the seller. They all understand once I've told them, and they don't wanna sell a counterfeit on an open venue like that, so
Yeah.
but I actually own 10 of these now, and it's like, I've got half of a drawer filled with these, so I'll have them when I go to Indianapolis and have my actual table, and, I actually have a genuine example to show as well, so we can talk about what's different.
I'm going to show this real quick because this is a better reference of that coin that you
They're
have in your
just getting
thumbnail.
scary good, and
But not really. These are scary good from this one actually goes back to 2008. I found
Mhm.
genuine source coin was actually, in an annex holder, 2008, and it had a cut through the A of half.
Mm.
And the counterfeiters, after an article, recognized that was an issue, and they went in and touched up the die, and then they made what we call the plug day. There's
Mhm.
actually two varieties of a genuine struck counterfeit.
Mm.
And this is the one, yes, this is my avatar. And obviously, after I identified it as counterfeit, it's like, oh, and so then they changed the online cert. Sometimes they'll say it's counterfeit. Sometimes they'll just say, contact customer service, and
Right.
they'd like to have it back. Right now it's in my box.
Yeah.
And back to the TPG guarantees, and I think somebody had said something about it in chat. The top four third-party graders guarantee the authenticity of the coins that they certify. They will buy them back, and I've actually brokered deals for friends. One coin was in a very prominent collection in a TPG holder, and it was $50,000, and they bought it back.
Mhm.
Another one was a wreath cent. Again, it was $14,000, and they bought it back. They will buy these back for the invoice price that you can show that you paid for the coin.
Yep. Crazy.
I've actually dropping the PCGS guarantee in chat. If you want to read this will talk to you about what's going on, what they do, things about removing coins from PCGS holders, coins that have been tampered, um, the coin status, if it's in a registry set, if it changes in numismatic value. There's a lot of other pieces that are listed in that. It's pretty robust, but go through and read that. NGC has them. But if you want to kind of understand more about what the guarantee and great authenticity is for that, go check that out. If you want the other ones, let me know and I'll put them in there.
This is a barber dime made into what they call I think it's repose or repose. It's REPOSSE with a little over the top of the E.
Oh, that's neat.
They call them, some call them punch out. This looks raised. It's not. It's actually sunk in. Isn't that funny how the microscope makes it look like it's raised, but it's not. On this side it's raised, but on this side it's there. You can see it there. But see, that's how deceptive these microscopes can be, you guys.
That's right. Even when you had
Intuit versus obtuse.
that back order yesterday,
See?
when I was looking at it, I saw what looked to be a die chip.
Yeah.
It looked like it was in relief.
Yeah. That's how deceptive microscopes can be, you guys.
And that's why I preach
That was a good little lesson. Loop, loop, loop.
yeah,
Loop
two
it, loop
ways
it,
to
loop
look at
it.
your coin. Don't
Yep.
trust the one.
Always. That was a good little unintentional lesson there. But anyway, yeah, this is some of the funky stuff that I collect because I can't afford the die caps and bonded coins. The ones I really want to collect, so I teach about them. I collect the exonumia. Fun.
Yeah, and again, there's a lot of different things in here. But now, what I do like about that piece, in reference to what you just stated, when
Mhm.
you're looking at, I had a discussion with somebody regarding a state quarter and a ring. So you guys know the ring of death, right? You guys are familiar with that.
Mhm.
And they were like, well, but it's underneath the device. And it's like,
Ah.
yeah, see, it's
Yeah.
actually not. And so what I told them to do is to go out into the sand or go out into the dirt and
Draw a
with their
ditch.
finger
Mhm.
do a big circle right? And then take a stick and very lightly scrape over the top of it, and then stand at it and look at it. And it'll look like that line goes underneath the the circle. And then you have to answer yourself, how is that possible? Right? You know what you just did. So how is it that it looks that way? And
Yeah.
they argued with me and argued with me and argued with me. And somebody actually ended up posting a video where they took something and did it, said, see, and they
Mhm.
disappeared. Like they were gone from the chat. They just were like, they were done because, oh, but there are little tools. And I think you actually are the one that taught me that.
Mhm.
Um, there are little tools that you can do, but it's very, very important you understand um, relief versus incuse and what happens. And if you can't explain how it got there uh, at the mint, then it's most likely damaged.
Yeah.
Paula collects funky stuff. Have to send her a pair of heels from the gold with the goldfish inside. Oh, yikes!
Microscopes and light causes a lot of what I call optical artifact.
Yep.
So you have to be very, very careful. It causes a lot of pareidolia, which is like seeing Jesus in toast,
And that's not
or
real.
or shapes in clouds. Pareidolia.
Mike,
What did he
Mike
say?
just sent me a text message. You're crazy, brother. That's funny.
Oh, he's a goofball. Love him.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. I'm so glad him and I are on that same humor level. It's amazing.
It must be. It must be really, really offensive because I didn't. He didn't send it to me.
Well, not necessarily offensive, but definitely not something for
Texas or
the
something.
regular chat. Yeah, but yeah, too much fun.
Fun stuff.
Well, we have about 15 minutes or so left. Do you guys have any questions that you would like to issue or
Yeah, ask some questions, you guys.
we've talked about a lot of stuff.
I got a question for Jack.
Fire.
What do you see as the future of fakes?
I think fakes are going to get better, as you and I have discussed,
Do
Eric
you
and
think
I.
they're going to get good enough to where they're not, or do you think they might even get too good where they're discovered because they're absolutely too good?
Well, I made that statement earlier. I think
Yeah.
it depends on the coin. Early copper, I think, will get discovered because they're too good.
Yeah.
But some of the other coins, the Morgans and Peace, what may be very difficult to discover.
Yeah,
But
especially if they get them in like keys and they circulate them.
exactly.
It's
Mhm.
going to be crazy hard.
I think again, it's all going to be education,
Sure.
and it's what we preach, every time we get together.
And don't open the Pandora's box. I mean, when you go on to like, I don't know what site, Alibaba or Timu or whatever, don't think you're going to get a coin that's $2,000 coin for 26 bucks. They're not making a mistake. That's why there's 200 of them listed on it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Oh, Prost.
if you want that coin, go to a reliable dealer and try and get the coin legitimately.
I see a lot of things where people say, well, it weighs the right amount and this and it's that. And, there's a lot of things that we can do, but they take some technology to do them. I go to a local coin shop about once a month and I take counterfeits with me. And they're very receptive to a little show and tell. Even customers that are there come up. And I always have them go in and XRF some of the
Yeah,
coins
I was
and
gonna say
tell
they
me
are.
yeah, tell me what's in them because, you know, I found that some of the really good early copper large cents were made with planchets that were called large cents. And so when I sent them to a testing lab, they came back as, well, these are probably genuine because of the material, the metal.
Right,
And
right.
they weren't. They weren't. And my best, most iconic coin in my collection is a 1796 large cent that has a star in front of the face. And it took me 2 years to see it. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Right, right.
And so there have been articles, and I had a friend actually do a podcast on it, that it was struck over an 1853 large cent. And you can go in now under a microscope and actually see Heart of Liberty and other things that are the undertype coming up through that coin.
Yeah.
So they were smart enough to strike it over a genuine large cent.
Yeah, here's a thing. I mean, not on the U.S. coins, but foreign coins. There is a lot like coins from Brazil and stuff like that that they would collect coins. They didn't have planchets, and they would strike them over other coins, and they're still legitimate coins. So there are
Exactly.
coins out there like that.
And some of the contemporary counterfeits, Winston Zach's done a really good job documenting a lot of that stuff.
Yep,
Mhm.
yep.
Some of them are, what we call German silver. And I've got 2 Buffalo nickels that I've taken to the coin shop, and they are German silver. They're not nickels. So they didn't come out of the US Mint.
So, Kevin, that SLQ quarter, I just posted this in chat. The one that you sent actually is in the possession of Jack Young. We talked a little bit about that a while back, and I actually forwarded that on to him so that he could review it, look at it, document it, whatever he wanted to with that particular. So that's where that SLQ, that was it a 25 or something like that?
Oh, the one you sent me, Frosty?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. I've got it here on my desk somewhere, but my desk is a mess.
Yeah,
Isn't
I think
everybody?
all of us have that same issue. Um,
Mine's bad.
But yeah, so it actually got sent to him because again, more documentation. And again, Paula and I talked about this. She's like, that's one of those things that it would be really nice for him to do more research on. I wholeheartedly agreed. Reached out to Jack thanks to Paula's, and that's actually kind of when you and I really started talking more.
Mhm.
Um,
It's a
and
24D.
24, yeah,
Yeah, I got it right in front of me right now.
yeah, and so Jack getting that was thanks to Paula. Paula was the one who made that recommendation, and it was a really good one too.
Oh, I just now read the note on the bottom of it. Please return.
No worries. No, it's okay.
But I'm going to take it to my coin shop, and it'll be one of the show and tells, and we'll do an XRF and just see what it's made of.
Cool. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I thought you were going to do the review on it, but it was like, no, just keep it, talk about it, study it, do what you need to do with it.
That is an exceptional learning piece, and he is the person that has, does the most teaching about those things. So that's why I thought it would be good in good hands with him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because
And
he
so
has, he has the most opportunity to show it around and teach about it.
I got to do my video about it. I was happy.
Mhm.
But no, again, right. And this is where, and Jack and I, and again, Jack and I's connection is all due to Paula, without a doubt.
You're
Um,
welcome.
thank you very much. Yes. Um, but what's important is
Oh.
that people need to understand we share lots of information amongst ourselves. Me and Paula talk a lot about things. Jack and I talk about things. Eric and I talk about things. Chuck and I talk about things. And we're constantly sharing and
Yeah.
spreading information out amongst everybody. What's cool about the group of people that we're associated with is that we all generally have that same mission. And that it really is just to teach it information out into the hands of people. Most of us are not out there trying to turn profits. Now, if you work for a coin shop and you own a coin shop, that's a different story. But the information that's out there is about sharing knowledge. And that's what I like about this group of people. And Paula, you're absolutely right. That coin is something that needs to be disseminated. It's even said that coin almost ruined coin collecting for me when I first started.
And I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah, fact. But this is where somebody's mistake or somebody's unfortunate purchase can benefit a lot of people. And this is why when things like this happen, I see people, well, you failed in that effort. The failure is only if you choose not to do anything about it, you choose not to learn or grow from it, stand back up and move. The failure is when you give up. People make mistakes. And I often say when we're doing teaching and education, there's no wrong answer. And people are like, no, that's not true. The reason that I say that is it's okay to get the answer wrong because that gives you an opportunity to learn, gives you an opportunity to be explained why that element was wrong, why that element doesn't exist that way, why it can't be. If you just tell somebody, nope, that's wrong, then you stop them from potentially learning what it is that they misunderstood. And so having coins like that, like the one that Jack gave, actually the two that Jack gave me, and Jack, you'll see the other one in the video that I'm going to be dropping on Tuesday. Um, I'll have to resend you that link so that you can review that to make sure that it's all adequately explained. But this is Jack posted that. It's on his Ploxy blog. This is all of his stuff. I'm not taking any credit for what Jack did. I'm just another source to get it out into the community. And I want people to understand that a lot of the information that I do, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. It's not me. All I can do is share the information that's out there in the best way that I can. What's important is you guys, the folks that are watching this, you are the ones that have the capability to send us that stuff that you see. This is why I'm doing the whole um, Rooster Award or the Crow Award to share information of just really bad stuff that you find. Because again, the more we identify, the more we start seeing this, the more we start being critical of the stuff that we see, the better the community is going to be for it. So, um, Paula, again, I owe that huge connection to Jack Young too. And
Amen.
Paula knows this and she hates it when I talk her up.
I do. So
But
stop it.
but there are two ladies in this community that I hold in extremely high regard, and that's Paula and Amanda. Extremely high regard. Now, that's not saying that there aren't other ladies in this that I hold in high regard, but they have come alongside of me on multiple occasions and said, "Well, this is why what you said is slightly wrong." They have
Just 'cause he wouldn't
absolutely
go away. It's just because he wouldn't go away.
I'm like, they say, "Well, it stays in Vegas or happens in Vegas stays in Vegas." Herpes will come home with you.
It's
Um,
just, oh my
Nice.
gosh, like luggage.
yeah, and it's the keep the give it keeps on giving. Um,
Now,
I gotta go. Have a good day, everybody. Love
yeah,
you guys.
Paula.
Have a blessed
she's like,
Sunday. Thanks
enough of
for
this
this.
conversation. I'm out of
Always
here.
fun. Bye, Jack.
Have fun at church. And crabs. Yes, crabs are bad too. But no, again, and this is just having these conversations and making sure that we share this information. Um, and I'm going to do this again. This is something you guys have seen this. I talk about this. 100% have to give huge kudos to the ACEF. Beth made a really nice connection with Beth, talked with her quite a number of times, did an amazing video. And she's like, if there's information that you want to share and disseminate, just reach out to us, let us know. This is an amazing organization. In fact, one of the coins that Jack was talking about the other day, um, which is that this other one, this one, let's see, did that have that show up? Okay, this coin right here. This one is one that when Jack, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you were fighting with the place to get your money back, you actually quoted and you're dealing your workings with the ACF, and this is the thing that actually turned the tide for you with PayPal,
Yeah, I agree with that.
right? And so people need to understand, and folks, we hear this all the time. I wish people would do more to help block counterfeits, but there are so many people doing stuff behind the scenes that some of it can't be explained. See you, Jack. Have a good one, brother. I appreciate you coming in. Um, Jack Riley, by the way. I'm not telling you to leave, Jack. Um, but there are so many people doing things behind the scenes, and sometimes you can't tell people what you're doing. You can't, right? You bust undercover operations, but there are some amazing stories and things that they've done. One of the ones that Beth talked about was the gold bust that they did with a guy who was selling these, pretending to be a retired police officer or whatever it was, and massive, massive amount of fake gold coins. Tiger Stacker and I did a conversation about knowing the coin versus knowing the holder, and it's your responsibility to know whether or not the coin is authentic or not. And a lot of stackers were like, "Well, why does this apply to me? I stack silver and gold. This doesn't matter." And it's like, well, if you go to NGC, the top 50 graded or top 50 counterfeit coins, you're going to find that 43 of them are gold, right? So you need to understand about counterfeit. You need to understand about what's authentic and what's not. Chuck, Eric, it's the complete set, right?
Yes.
Of
Yep.
Lincoln cents, wheat cents, a complete set,
Yeah. Everyone.
including things like the 1922S and the 1958S and
Oh,
ones
he's
that
got
don't.
Morgan dollars that are like 1921 CC.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, things that, 60 years ahead of time, the mint was closed. One of my favorite ones. Have you seen the 1796 peace dollar?
I haven't.
Do you know why that one it makes me so happy? It's because it's the same year that the guy who created that was born. The guy who did the right. So
Nice.
there are some of these things that are just, and Jack, you call them red book fakes, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
These are things that if you just simply look in the red book, you'd be able to know, right? And so again, information is power. And again, ACEF, if you're not tracking them, and I'm going to show this real quick and I want to share them. I 100% support this channel. They have a donate here if you want to donate. Again, these are nonprofit folks. These guys are out here doing stuff to help you. They're fighting for our hobby. They're fighting to protect people, not only collecting but stacking as well. If you want to donate to a place where the money's going to go to genuinely what it is that they do, this is a good place.
And people probably underestimate just how much time they have involved in this. When
Oh,
you get into this, you spend a lot of time doing it.
that's no joke. And Jack Young, Jack Riley, did you guys even begin to estimate how much time you've spent trying identifying coins?
I can't. It's amazing, actually. Between identifying coins and going through and looking at bad listings at eBay in my spare time, it's a lot of my spare time, without question. But again, getting together with folks like this and the articles, to me, it just makes it worth it.
Well, plus it keeps your brain engaged and you enjoy doing it, obviously, or you wouldn't do it.
Absolutely. And again, if I didn't have a day job, I probably would have written that book by now that Mike has been on me about.
So when's that coming?
Well, I'm probably going to put in one more year in my second career and then look from there. But again, if you go into Coin Week, the basis of the book is there. I mean, there's 100 different articles there at this point.
Hmm.
And you guys, you can go to Coin Week and just go to the search bar and type in Jack Young, right? I don't know if you guys know Boolean searches, but Boolean searches include parentheses, capitalized and close parentheses, or quotes, excuse me, not parentheses, quotes, or right. So you do a Boolean search, Jack Young, and then capitalized and Morgan, or Jack Young capitalized and flowing hair, or cap bust, or whatever, and it will narrow down the information, and you can actually see that kind of stuff. And I highly, highly recommend, before you buy one of those high grade, high dollar coins, that you are, one, reaching out to a professional to make sure that the the coin that you're doing is authentic, even if it's coming from a trusted source. Always quantify and validate the coin. Jack has explained to you today why that's so crucial, why that's so important, because there are known counterfeits out there that are inauthentic TPG holders. Okay. Now, even though the protections are there by that TPG, you don't want to get caught with your pants down. And I don't mean to say that to be whatever, but there's a whole lot of money in some of these coins, and you need to authenticate the coin. Do not rely on the slab. Don't. What is happening by these counterfeits are they are betting against you to assume authenticity and not validate because it's in a TPG. Don't do that. Actually subscribe to knowing the coin. If people tell you to trust the TPG holder as authentic, that's bad information. Always know the coin. Just
That's
like if
right.
you're looking at gold and silver, yes, it's important for you to check the gold and silver, make sure it's authentic. But just because you have authentic gold doesn't mean you have an authentic gold coin.
It, and another thing, Frosty, know who you're buying it from because most of these coins are high dollar coins.
Well, but
So
even in
know that you're
that,
buying it from a trusted dealer. Don't buy it. If you're going to look for uh, a $4,000 coin, eBay might not be the best place to start looking for that.
fact. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
might
Fact.
want to go to a reputable coin dealer and at least start your search there.
Proxilla. I just picked up the 2026 flowing hair.
There you go.
That's absolute a joke, by the way, folks. There isn't one. Um, but I called that when the flowing hair came out in 2024.
Oh
I said,
yeah,
you will see this. Absolutely, you will see this counterfeit. Um, there are
and
other coins coming out.
they're in third party holders.
Yep. And you know what's going to be, you know what else is going to be coming out? The gold sunflower. I guarantee you'll be seeing counterfeits of the gold sunflower early next year because it was a highly sought after, highly anticipated piece. And a lot of people love that piece. And when you get something that's highly collectible, people are trying to find that good deal, right? That's what you were talking about earlier, Jack. Trying to find that good deal, thinking you know more about it than the other folks do. And it's that desire to achieve that those people bank on. That's what they look for. That is exactly what they're trying to do. So putting a BMW logo on a gremlin doesn't make it more valuable. Just cool. That's funny. My sister used to have a gremlin. That was a fun car. Cool sounds.
Just a comment. When Beth and I went to DC, we had a meeting with Secret Service, but we also had a meeting with the Finance Committee staffers, Hatchett's group at the time, talking about stolen IP and talking about at that point the new counterfeit slabs that were coming out that said NGC and PCGS. And I actually had one. I have a gold $20 gold piece that's mostly tungsten. I don't think it had any gold in it whatsoever, and it was in a counterfeit PCGS holder. And I brought it in to show everybody, and one of the staffers dropped it, and it cracked. It broke. And I said, "Well, there's a good indication that there's something wrong with that one."
You talking about the coin or
The slab,
hold?
the slab
Okay,
itself completely cracked in
because
a
tungsten is so
2 foot
hard.
drop on a table. Yeah,
Yeah, tungsten's so hard it has been known to shatter.
yeah. I still own that slab. In fact, Beth used it in one of her books that she wrote talking about counterfeits, and it's got a big crack through the front of it.
Yeah, and make sure that you guys are thank you for dropping that freaking awesome. Appreciate that. Freaking awesome is always good to share and post links. So thank you so much for um but again, yeah. Now, I want to go back to something that Eric stated. Buy from trusted sources. That is the number one thing that you can do. However, even more important than buying from a trusted source is knowing the coin. Jack, when you were at the coin show and you found that counterfeit coin in the authentic TPG, would you consider that person a trusted source?
Yes, only because he stood behind his product. He guaranteed what he had, and he would have bought it back.
So,
The question is he wasn't knowledgeable enough to know it was counterfeit. But again, Frosty was one of the really deceptive ones that the TPGs didn't know was counterfeit.
well, and this is where, okay,
Where you should be both. Should
yeah,
be
but
educated and
there was a question in chat earlier, then why do I even stay in the hobby? Folks, it doesn't matter if you are into cars, if you're into art, if you're into kitchen appliances, dogs, it doesn't matter what you're into. There's counterfeits everywhere. It doesn't matter what collectible entity you're in. It doesn't. There are fakes of whatever you're into everywhere. It's in every hobby. It permeates through. There was a comment in chat earlier that says, you know, it used to be illegal to create fakes, but it's not in China. It's actually industry
it
in
is.
China.
There's some date that anything after a certain date they can counterfeit.
It's only Chinese coins. They have a restriction on certain older Chinese coins that cannot be counterfeited in China. Beyond that, they can do anything they want. And the
And it's
unfortunate
industry.
thing is they actually have minting technology that was sold as scrap. So they have a
They have
minting
American
press.
presses. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and see, Kevin Rose, a person who is an artist, he says, being a naive artist, I see counterfeits daily. It doesn't matter what you're into, right? And so what's important is knowing the coin. Now, I'm not asking anybody to become an expert like Jack Riley, Jack Young, Paula. I'm not asking for you guys to dig into this and break down. Paula will tell you quite clearly, I'm not I'm not on world coins. I don't get currency. And so we have little areas of expertise that we go into. One of mine is just education, right? Trying to find the simplest and the funnest way to explain some of these items. But I'm not the coin expert. I just relay the information, right? I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from the people that I surround myself with. But what's important is to know who those people are. And that's kind of one of those things that really drives my channel, tying people to that. But on this counterfeit in China thing, if you watch the interview that I did with Beth, she states that in the shops there is something hanging on the wall that actually tells you that there are counterfeits in the shop. In some cases, it'll tell you that everything in the shop is counterfeit. But in order to understand that, you have to read Chinese. But they're legally required to post it, but they can sell it. It's industry in China. It's a full on industry. But we have to understand what's going on. And again, folks like Jack Young, Jack Riley, Zach, there's a lot of amazing people. Beth, I can't even begin to count. If you go to contact the ACF, or if you look at the Trusted Experts Dictionary on the ACF, you can find a map. I'm actually going to scroll to this on the, if you want to find out where you're at, you can actually come down and type in your zip code. I'm going to do, and then, it'll actually give you the list of people in Texas that are considered under ACEF trusted expert. And if these people get caught selling counterfeits or not standing by their stuff, they get removed from this,
can I make a
right?
comment?
Please.
There's a gentleman there that I know very well that had a counterfeit for sale in a major Facebook group. And it's one that an article had been written on. And he handled it very professionally. And he did everything right. And he pulled the listing and he got the coin back to the gentleman that he had bought it from. And We went through and basically documented what was wrong with it. So my issue is he handled it. It's not an issue. The note is he handled everything correctly. The point is he didn't know it was counterfeit. And so there were people that said, well, he's a trusted expert. Well, he is, and he handled it correctly. But again, some of these are good enough that they get past anyone.
And that's what I said earlier. That was one of my points, that the truly great fakes are probably undetected out there still. And there probably are some. Is there a lot? Probably not.
It wasn't one of the great ones.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones I call intermediate and would be found if you went through the effort to attribute it. But it did look on surface to be a good, genuine coin.
Sure.
I'm going to pull up something really fast, and then we're going to wrap this up because I know that we've been on for quite some time. This is something that you guys have seen. This is on my, this is going to be my Sunday thumbnail moving forward. Thing here. And what I want people to understand, there's more names than are going to be. I'm going to actually update this a little bit more. But the people on this list, Fun with Fakes, you see Tiger Stacker down there, Variety Vista Connect, Copper Coins, the ANA, Harlan J. Burke, Live Coin Q&A, the Coin Show podcast. Again, the ancient coins, Harlan J. Burke is there. I'm going to actually add Aaron Burke when it comes to ancient coins. There are some additional people that I'm going to add here, but this particular thumbnail is not meant to be an exclusive list. Okay, this is my network. These are the people that I rely on for information. There's some other people on here, but these are the core group of people that I really go to. These are the folks that have given me good, solid information. They've never steered me wrong. They've always come alongside to teach and to educate. And I want to have people understand that my network is your network. My network is open to everybody. It's because it's not mine. It's yours. The reason that we do this, the reason that we talk about this, the reason that we share this is because I want you guys to be protected as much as possible in this hobby. So I'm going to make some adaptations on this. And again, Mike, no worries. I know that we talked about this. I just haven't done it. And there are a couple other people that I'm going to be adding on this, but this is my trusted resource. You can reach out to
Probably a
anyone.
Work in
Again,
progress. I says it's probably a work in progress. So
it's going to, well, it's going to change. Yeah.
Sure.
But the thing that's important here is I want you all to know, it's like, well, man, I don't know where to start. You can start here. You can start at Livecoin. You can start with Jack Fun and Fakes. You can start with Connector or the ANA or the ACEF. There are so many places for you to start. I just am one of them. That's all. I don't need to be your sole source for information. I can't be. I don't have enough information. I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the history. But what we're trying to do here on this particular channel is to connect you to those people. I will never pretend to know everything. Matter of fact, it's quite often I'm like, I don't know. And that's what you need in this hobby. You need people that are authentic, and you need people that hold integrity and that will tell you that they don't know. Those people are the ones that will go find it for you. And the people that have been on here will do that for you. And so again, I want to reiterate, I push the Coin Show podcast. They're a great channel. Those guys know people who know people who know people. You go look at that episode that they did yesterday and you see some of the interviews that they're going to do. They're talking to some amazing people. They're great to have and knowledgeable as hell. But they have coin shops, and the people in their coin shops, the people that they work with, are knowledgeable. And so again, find find resources, find a trusted source. Yours don't have to be the same as mine. It just doesn't have to be that way. You can have your own group of people. This is just mine. And I want people to know who they are because, again, none of these folks have steered me wrong. And that's really important in this. I just want to reiterate that. So Jack and Eric, Paula, I know she already had to leave to go to church. Thank you guys for coming alongside on your day off to come hang out. Sorry about that. To come hang out and to share your information with us. For the folks that are in chat, thank you for coming in here. Thanks for having the discussion. Thanks for asking questions. Kevin, thank you for sending the SLQ, right? AZ Coins, thank you for sharing the story about the purchase that your son made. Because all of these things are opportunity for us to learn more about the hobby, and that's ultimately bottom line. That's what I'm here for. That's what we're here for. All right, folks. Well, hey, I appreciate you all. Jack, Eric, you guys have anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
Just thanks for having me. I look forward to it every weekend. I wish I had more to share today, but I've been battling a bad internet connection.
I really enjoy being here. You know I do, Frosty, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, I appreciate it. And thanks again for sending me these 2 coins so we can do more education about them. And then I'll be sending you that link so that we can get that video once you approve it. Then we'll issue that release.
That sounds great.
Mike, as always, thank you so much for being here. Mike of the Coin Show podcast. Again, please go check them out. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell.
Lots of good stuff this week on that channel.
Amazing good things. So go check that out. You know, you're going to have to put up with their humor because they think they're funny, but yeah, it's great. And Dandy Dave, I want to just reiterate one thing. The only time I was ever an expert was when I was conceived. All right, folks, take care of take care of yourselves. Be well, be blessed, and we will see you guys in the stream. Take care.